All right, so yesterday we discussed rates and unit rates. So we're going to start off class today with a review of that and do a couple practice problems. Now, obviously yesterday was the first day, so those problems were a little bit easier. Today you're going to be exposed to problems that are not as easy. And again, probably starting tomorrow and Thursday, I will let you guys use calculators because we are not testing you on your ability to divide. We are testing you on your ability to know the process of finding rate and unit rate. With that being said, though, do you still have to show your work? Yes. So even though you're going to have a calculator that you're going to be able to use, you are still showing the process. You're still showing your division. You're still showing all of that. Does that make sense? All right. So a rate is a comparison of two amounts with different units. Okay, an example of this is 15 miles in 3 hours. Okay? So 15 miles in 3 hours. So that's our example. And then the way that you can write it is 15 miles to 3 hours. Now remember, we can use abbreviations when we're writing this stuff. We can, you don't have to write out like every single word that there is, okay? Unit rate is a rate with a denominator or bottom number of 1. All right, and also remember the word per. That's a big thing. So per 1, per gallon, per mile, per second, per foot, per whatever. Okay, so if you see per, then you know that it's going to be a unit rate. So we're going to use this rate up here. So you're going to rewrite 15 miles in 3 hours. And we want to find out how many miles plus they can go in 1 hour. So how do you go from 3 to 1? Raise your hand. How do you go from 3 to 1? Gabriel. So Gabriel, if I divide by 3 on the bottom, what do I have to do on the top? Divide by 3. Okay, so 15 divided by 3, that's one that you can do in your head. You don't necessarily have to show your work for that. So what is 15 divided by 3? Angel? 5. So our answer would be 5 miles. So 5 miles in 1 hour. Or you could say 5 miles per hour. It's the same thing. You guys cannot really see that, can you? All right, so to find the unit rate, there's just really 2 steps. Yesterday, I think there was, 3? But you're going to write the rate as a fraction. So always remember, it's A to B. It's not AB, it's A to B. But you're writing it as a fraction because it's just easier to simplify that way. Then you're going to divide both numerator and denominator by the denominator to make the new fraction of 1. Okay? And essentially that's what we're doing. So if you look at any of the questions from yesterday, and you even look at this one, we're just taking this number and dividing this number by itself to get 1. Right? And then we have to divide whatever that number is to the top. So if you want to make a note here, divide top and bottom by same number. That's kind of the same thing as what step number 2 is saying. All right, thumbs up when you are ready to move on. All right, so for the first problem, we're going to do it together. And what did we talk about when we're dealing with money? Real quick, yesterday, what did we write in our notes when we're dealing with money? Samantha?
Money always goes on top.
Money always goes on top. So remember that when you're finding unit rate. So this question says, a box of 6 granola bars costs $4.80. What is the price per granola bar? So we know that we have 6 granola bars and it costs $4.80. We are looking for what is the price per granola bar. So when I set this up, I'm going to do $4.80 on top. I'm going to do 6 bars on the bottom. I want to find out how much it costs per 1 bar. So how do I go from 6 to 1? What are we dividing by? Gracie?
6.
All right, what do I multiply 6 by to get 4? What do I multiply 6 by to get 4? Sincere?
Nothing.
Nothing. What do I multiply 6 by to get 48? Silas?
8.
And what do I multiply 6 by to get 0? 0. So my answer for this one is 80 cents per bar. All right, thumbs up when you're ready to move on. And the reason I want you guys to write your work and show your work for this one right here is because I want you to make sure you understand that it's not $8, it's 80 cents. All right, the next one, Sam paid $15.24 for 6 gallons of gasoline. What is the unit rate per gallon of gas? You guys are solving this problem on your own. Highlight, solve it, and then stand up when you're done. Stand up when you're finished. for whatever reason, these two tables are extremely close, and I don't know why, so you're just gonna have to deal with it till I get a minute to separate them. Or Joshua, just move on the other side for right now, or the end of the table, it doesn't matter. All right, have a seat. So we know that our rate is going to be $15.24 for 6 gallons of gasoline. We need to find out what is the unit rate per gallon of gasoline. So I'm gonna put $15.24 on top and 6 gallons on the bottom. I have to find out how many, or how much it costs per 1 gallon. How do I go from 6 to 1? How do I go from 6 to 1? Zachary? Divide by 6, which means I'm gonna do both of that on the top and the bottom. So $15.24 divided by 6. What can I multiply 6 by to get close to 15? Isaac?
2.
Okay, what can I multiply 6 by to get close to 32? Allison?
5.
And what do I multiply 6 by to get 24? Silas?
4.
So the amount per gallon is $2.54. Okay? So what's the biggest difference between these first two problems that we've done today and the problems that you did yesterday? What's the biggest difference?
They have decimals.
They have decimals in them. Anything with money, you're going to have decimals. What's the other thing? Are these as easy as the ones yesterday?
Yeah.
So this one was easy? Like you can do this in your head?
Yeah.
You could have done that in your head? Y'all are a bunch of lying children. I promise you that. We're moving on. I'm not even trying to hear no nonsense today. We're not talking about it. We're moving on. Get out your glue, glue this piece of paper in. On the next blank, right page, I need you to title it Rates as Comparison Notes, and then put today's date. All right, thumbs up when you're ready to move on. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a lot of practice of finding unit rate and finding the rates. And we're going to be doing a decent amount of like partner slash group work. If you become off task during this partner slash group work, we can just do this independently. But I like that you guys work together for the most part fairly well. It's just when you're done is the problem because we feel like we need to continue to talk, which you do not. When you are done solving these problems today, I need you to stand up and I need you to be quiet. We cannot have the extra conversations. Okay? Does that make sense? If we feel the need to have extra conversations, we just won't work together. All right. So it says a travel agency is preparing 3 different car rental quotes for her customer, as shown in the tables below. So you have thrifty, you have frugal, and you have value. All right. These are all ratio tables. What do we know about a ratio table? It is an example of what? What do you think? If you don't know, do you have a notebook full of information that you can look back at and figure out what a ratio table shows you a visual of?
It shows you like a visual of like how much you
No,
put down.
no, it does not. It shows you, every single table, no matter what you're looking at, if it has ratios in it, shows you a visual of something.
A ratio.
No. No. Look back in your notebook, y'all. Go to the ratio table notes that we took. Promise you it's on there. Alex? Yes. All of these tables are equivalent ratios. Unit rate is what? Unit rate and rate. What are those two? What type of ratios are they? I'm not asking rocket science, guys. What type of ratio? So you write your rate and then you find your unit rate using that rate. So what is a rate and a unit rate?
Equivalent fraction from just the ratios.
Right, they're equivalent ratios. You're simply simplifying your rate to find per one. It is an equivalent ratio. So with that being said, you have to find the cost per day for each one of these. Obviously, there's not enough room on this piece of paper. So where are you doing your work? In your notebook. So the first one we're going to do together just to make sure that we have a good example in our notebook. So you need to label it thrifty. Now, you have all of these options to choose from. You can do 3 days for $109.50, 5 days for $182.50, 8 days for $292, and 9 days for $328.50. Which one would you like to do? Isaac? The first one. So go ahead. This is the ratio that we are using. All right. So Isaac, tell me, how am I going to set up the 3 days and the $109.50?
The money goes on top,
Okay. Okay.
and then the number of days goes on the bottom.
All right. And then what goes to the right?
Equal sign, and then to 1.
All right, so this is how you're going to set this up. Now, obviously, we're going to divide by 3 here, which means we're dividing the top by 3. This is not a number that you can do in your head. So you're going to come over here and put it into a long division problem. We're dividing by 3. So what can I multiply 3 by to get close to 10? That's right. All right, what do I multiply 3 by to get close to 19?
6.
Okay, I'm going to put my decimal there. So I end up with 18. Bring down my 5. What do I multiply 3 by to get 15? Angel?
5.
And then I bring down my 0. What do I multiply 3 by to get 0? 0. So the cost per day for the first one is $36.50. That is what you're going to put right here. All right. You as a group are doing the next 2. like the next two tables. When you are finished, please stand up. If you are standing, are you talking? No. So please, once you have stood up, please do not talk anymore. Alex, come join table 3, please. All right. Are there any questions? Do I get started?
For frugal ride, which one are we doing? I think it'd be frugal. No, like frugal ride, which is the which are the we'll do 2 then. 2 sets of divided by 2. So we'll need to do 2 divided by 2. So we have right down that. So okay, Alex, we're doing frugal ride. So highlight the first one, the frugal ride. Charts 2 and 7, $2, 2 days, and $61.
So we had to do
Yeah. Wait, I can write it down. Wait, we're not for 5. No, I'm reading out. Okay, now we're at the. Oh, okay, we'll wait for Alex. Alrighty. Is everybody ready to wait?
Bro, it's supposed to wait.
It's supposed to wait.
It's a teamwork.
It's a teamwork thing.
Not a solo.
Okay.
I'm done dividing. Okay.
Okay. 2 goes into 7 3 times, is that 6?
I'll wait for you guys.
Drop another 1. It's 1, drop a 1. 2 goes into that 5 times, because that's 10, drop a 1.
I'll just write the next one.
Then we have 15. Don't divide until we're ready. 2 goes into 14. 15.
I can't think.
It goes into so 2 goes into that 7 times. So drop a 14, and that gives us a 1. Drop a 0. Okay, we're done. It's $3, $35. That's what we supposed to divide together, guys. We have to do that. Well, let's just move on. We have to do I feel like we should move on. Okay, don't divide without us. Wait for us. Wait for us. Okay, just wait for us. Also, Alex, well, let's do this. Let's do 3. Okay, 3. So for 3, we're gonna do 3 divided by 11, 11, 11.
So we have to divide by.
Yeah, I'm writing it down. You gotta be patient or patient. Okay, 3 goes into 11. How many times?
Wait, minus 9.
Drop your 1. 21 zeros. 21 7 times minus 21 is 0. Then we have
Right, but on canvas, the word is there. So why not?
Okay, so it's $37. $37. So it's 37.
That's a lot of zero.
It's 37.00. So I think the cheapest one was Frugal. Frugal was cheapest. Oh yeah, I know. This page right here. Where's my favorite though? Oh yeah, the cheapest one. Where did my pencil? Why is it gone?
So if you are standing, what should you not be doing? Right. So that is your first and your last warning. I'm not telling you guys again. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go over these. So for the next one, raise your hand and tell me what ratio did you use? Isaac's group.
The first one.
So the 2 to $71.50. All right, so you divided by 2. What did you get when you divided $71.50 by 2? So $35 and
75 cents.
okay. Thumbs up if that's what you got. That's what you should have got. Okay, if you did not get that, please make sure that you get the right answer written down. Now, I'm not going to show the division step on this part of it because you guys did that. I'm not going to waste our time with that. All right, the next one. All right, Gabriel, which one did you guys use? First one as well? Did anybody try and use a different one? No. That's fine. All right, so $111 in 3 days. You guys divided by 3. Gabriel, what did you get when you divided 111 divided by 3? All right, so you have $35.75 for the frugal, and for the value, it's $37 per day. All right, thumbs up if you guys got those as your answers. All right, so it says, what is the cost of renting a car for 10 days from Thrifty, Frugal, and Value? So now, how do we take this information right here and apply it to figuring out, sorry, you guys can't see that, figuring out how much it's going to cost for 10 days. What do we do with that? Guys, I need some of you to really focus. Some of you guys are out in left field right now, and I need you to bring it in. Silas. What though? So essentially, you're going to reset this up because we're practicing still, and you're going to do $36.50 for 1 day equal to 10 days. And we know that we multiply this by 10, which means we have to multiply that by 10. This should not be hard because all we have to do is what? Add a zero and do what else though? You have to move your decimal. So this actually becomes $365 for 10 days. All right, I want you guys to do the next two. stand up when you are finished.
So 1 and 2.
No, this one you don't need to do as a group. I'm pretty sure you can handle this on your own. I hope anyways. Oh, that's wrong. Please make sure that you have it written out just like this, that you're showing that you're going from 1 day to 10 days and what you're doing for each one of them. If you do not, sit down and get it done right. These are notes, guys. So whatever I'm writing up here, what are you doing in your notebook? You're writing. So if you just have an answer, that's not going to work for me. Make sure you have the process written correctly up there. Again, this should not be taking us very long. All you're doing is moving your decimal and adding a 0. All right. So $35.75 when I multiply it by 10 becomes what? Raise your hand. Silas. $357.50. Is that what you wrote? Okay. And then for the next, or the last one, $37 times 10 becomes what? What does it become? Alex?
$370.
So $370. So you have thrifty, which is $365. You have frugal, which is $357.50. And you have value, which is $370. Which one is the best value for 10 days, and how do you know? So which one's the best value? Gracie?
So it's frugal because it's the cheapest and
That's it?
yeah.
So frugal because it is the cheapest. We're going to do a lot of practicing today of essentially which is the better value, which is the better buy. And that is how you compare rates and unit rates. Oh, geez. All right, rates can be used in comparing different quantities so that we can solve a problem. All right, rates can be used, or rates can be solved using a tape diagram or proportions, just like ratios. And what we're doing is the proportion. Like the way that we're setting it up on all of these is the proportion. There is one problem that we are going to do today that you're going to see a tape diagram. Does not mean you have to use it, but I do want you to show you. A couple different examples of these would be talking about the price of something, which we just did. Talking about the speed of something. Talking about the distance. Okay, so those are examples of how we're going to compare different unit rates. Does that make sense? Yes, no? Possibly, maybe? Okay. All right, so it says, for number 1, a manufacturing line can produce 15 wedges in 2 minutes. How many wedges can the line produce in 30 minutes? Now, couple different ways you can set this up. You can find the unit rate and then find the rate for 30 minutes. This one is a nice one because it's got really nice numbers. So you can also just take that rate and figure it out that way. We are going to go we're going to go rate to unit rate to new rate. Just so, again, you practice finding the unit rate and then using that unit rate to find the answer. So in here, it says it can produce 15 wedges in 2 minutes. We have to find out how many wedges can the line produce in 30 minutes. So in your notebook, we're going to write number 1. 15 wedge for 2 minutes. We want to find out how much they can produce in 1 minute. How do we go from 2 to 1? Okay, so we're going to divide by 2 on both of these. Again, 15 is one that I'm not going to make you do your math unless you absolutely have to. What is half of 15? Raise your hand. It's half of 15. Everly?
Half of 15 is 2.
Nope. Nope. BK?
75 times.
So 7.5. All right, so they can produce 7.5 wedges in 1 minute. So now how do I use this information to answer my question of how many can they make in 30 minutes? What do I need to do, Gabriel? So I'm going to set it up to 30. So I'm going to do this times 30 because that's how I go from 1 to 30. And I'm going to multiply 7.5 times 30. Oh, that's a 0. Sorry, I can't do math today. So you should end up with 225 wedges in 30 minutes. So that should be your answer. So you can write your answer on your piece of paper, but your work is done in your notebook. You have a question?
Like, why do we divide it by 2? Why don't we just, like,
I literally explained why we did that.
in 2 minutes?
Not even that. I told you the reason we're doing this to this, because we could very easily have gone from that to that. You're right. We're practicing finding unit rate. If you watched the video about not even 3 minutes ago, I explained why we're going to do it this way. Hey, turn this on, please. Yes, you are 100% correct. You can eliminate this step, right? And say, okay, 2 times 15 is going to give me 30. 15 times 15 is going to give me 225. If you didn't see that, that's a problem. You should have seen that right away. But I am making you practice finding unit rate today. So yes, I am adding in an extra step so that we can get 2 practices into 1. Does that make sense? Okay. You good, Christian? You understand now? Okay. All right. Let's look at the next problem. So it says a dripping faucet leaks 10 milliliters in 3 minutes. How many minutes will it take to produce 140 milliliters of water? Okay, so this one is a little bit different, so we have to think a little bit more about this one. So it goes 10 milliliters in 30 minutes. we need to find out how many minutes will it take to produce 140 milliliters. So how do you think you're going to set this one up? Because this one, like I said, it's a little bit different. So how are we going to set this one up? Gabriel, what do you think?
10 plus 3 and then divided by 3.
Okay, so you're saying 10 milliliters over 3 minutes?
And then divided by 3.
So you just we're gonna just do the straight to the unit rate and then go from there? Okay? So I'm gonna divide this by 3 and I'm gonna divide 10 by 3. Okay, hold on. So let's go ahead and do our division of 10 divided by 3. And what do you all of a sudden realize?
We do that.
You can, but you get a repeating what? A repeating number. So essentially, you end up with 3 1/3. And all of a sudden, it just got hard. All right. So let's look at the information that is given to us real quick. So we have 10 milliliters in 3 minutes. We need to know how many minutes it will take to produce 140 milliliters. So did we set up our problem correctly? No, we did not. Okay? You actually have to put the milliliters on the bottom. Or this is where that proportion of finding the unit rate is a little bit harder. Can we do 10 milliliters over 3 minutes and set this equal to 140 milliliters and figure it out from there? Yes, we can. We sure can. So this is where sometimes finding the unit rate is not always going to be the easiest. Because with 10 and 140, those are pretty easy numbers, right? What do we multiply 10 by to get 140? What do we multiply 10 by to get 140? Sincere?
14.
Whoever's doing whatever you're doing, stop. All right, so can I do, or what is 14 times 3? What does that give me? 14 times 3. Silas H. 42. So it takes 42 minutes to get 140 milliliters. So understanding rates, understanding unit rates, it helps with this problem. Now, we could have found the unit rate of this, but that is an extra step that we don't necessarily need to do. All right, so this one is 42 minutes for the answer for that one. All right, thumbs up when you are ready to move on. Okay, I'm going to turn the page because I don't have any more room. Number 3 and number 4, you guys are going to be doing as a group. Okay, so you're annotating on here. You can write your answer on here, but you're doing your work in your notebook. Any questions? All right, go ahead, get started. Stand up when you're done. When you're standing, please be quiet. Go to the bathroom.
So we're doing number 3 and number 4. 3 because order is better. A 12-pack of orange soda is priced at $3. Yeah, a 12-pack of orange soda is priced at $3. A 6-pack is and a 6-pack is priced at $1.75, which is a better value. But yeah, honestly, I do think it's the because it costs So I think the 12 pack instead of $11. But we gotta do the orders and pay and everything.
Yeah, that's where it does. Anyways, right now.
Okay, so you guys.
Or push one slip off.
I am ready.
So you have
12 pack divided by and it's still better.
What would our answer be? Would it be like?
Okay, guys. Guys, number 4.
Stop banging on the yoga ball. Whoever's doing it, stop it. Good Lord.
Number 4. Anna can type 143 words in 3 minutes. Caroline. Yeah. 12 pack is less expensive, so it's placed at a better value. Carolina. No, the 12 pack is 25 cents less expensive and 25 cents is 25 cents. Because 25 cents is just another thing that you can add on your I can't live on anything.
That is so old.
Alright guys, so we need to find the unit we need to find the unit rate of 123 3 minutes and 220 in 5 minutes.
Should not be doing any work on that piece of paper. The only thing you're doing on that piece of paper is writing. So why are you having enough work?
Okay.
Uncover your work and write the correct answer. If that's your answer, there only. Do not write any work on that piece of paper.
Caroline types
That is work,
faster
so
because
don't
she
write
can
any
read
work
for
on that
words
piece of
per
paper.
minute.
Do it in your notebook.
Okay, I got my answer. I thought you guys were already doing it, so I got it. But Caroline is faster because she can type 45
Alright,
words
so
per minute.
at this point, as I walk around, I see more people playing than I do working. So you're now independently doing this. Stand up when you're done. No more talking. All right, have a seat. We're gonna go over these. So for number 3, you're figuring out which pack is the better buy. So you should have it set up like this. I go from 12 to 1 by dividing by 12. So technically I have to divide 300, if you want to look at it that way, by 12, or $3 by 12. Raise your hand and tell me how much is it for one pack when you do $3 divided by 12. I had at least 8 people standing up, so there should be at least 8 hands up. If you're not done, you should be riding along with me as we're going over this. Silas. 25 cents. Okay, so that's 25 cents per one. Now we have to figure out for the 6-pack. So you're dividing $1.75 divided by 6. Raise your hand. What do you get when you do that? BK?
About 28 cents per soda.
It's not about. It's got to be it cannot be about. So if you have to round, you need to round, because remember, there are only 2 place values to the right in a number, or when we're dealing with money. So BK, did you need to round your answer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what do you round it up to?
29 cents.
29 cents. Okay, so which one is the better deal? 25 cents or 29 cents? Okay. Right, so this one is the better deal because it's cheaper. Okay, so you're looking for whatever is cheaper. So on your piece of paper, you just write 12-pack is the better deal. All right, now some of us may not have gotten to this one, and that's fine, but we're gonna go through it anyways. So you do 123 divided by 3, and what do you get when you do that? What do you get? Everly?
41.
So it's 41 words per 1 minute. Okay? And then you have to divide by 5. Divide by 5. 225 divided by 5 is going to give you what, Silas? 44 words. Now be careful with this one. So the question is asking who can type the fastest. So now we're not looking for the smallest number. What are we looking for in this one? Like the biggest number, because we're looking for who can type more. All right, so the correct answer for this one is going to be Caroline. All right, so thumbs up when you're ready to move on. Because remember, you're looking for the fastest, not the slowest, not the smallest number.
No, I'm just thinking it would be the Anna person.
No, because she types slower than Caroline. The question says who types the fastest. You got to read these questions carefully. All right, we are skipping number 5, and we're going to go to number 6. Number 6 you're going to be able to do on this piece of paper. All right, so it says, during a thunderstorm, the local news reports rainfall at ½ of an inch per hour. How much rain will fall if it continues for 8 hours? Use the tape diagram below. So obviously, this is 0 and this is 0. The top is going to be our rainfall, and the bottom is going to be our hours. All right, so the first line, well, let me rephrase that. How many lines should we have in our tape diagram? How many lines should we have here? Silas? 16, are you sure? What's our biggest number? Like, how many total hours do we have? 8. So we know that this is going to be 8. So then how many lines do we have to have in here? 8 or 7? So do your best that you can to kind of like space them out evenly. It doesn't have to be perfect. But get your 8 lines in there so you can start with that. Okay. All right, and then from here, what is our unit rate? What is our unit rate? What does it tell us in our problem that is our unit rate? Gracie.
Half an inch per hour.
So it's half an inch per hour. So for 1 hour, we have half of an inch. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then the rest of these numbers down here are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I want you to fill in the top. Okay, this is our unit rate right here. So this is our unit rate. And you can either just count by going up or you can use that unit rate. It's up to you. Stand up when you have your answer. All right, have a seat. So, what is my rate for 2? Like, how much rain do I have at 2 hours? Samantha, how much rain do I have at 3 hours? Gabriel? No.
2/4.
Baby, that's 1 whole. Like, that's 1 whole. It's not 2/4. 2/4 is half. Lord Jesus, take the wheel. Silas? 1.5. All right, what about 4? How many inches of rainfall do we have? BK? 2. What about 5? Molly? 2.5. What about 6? You should see a pattern. We're increasing by half, right? Summer? 3. What about 7? I'm not trusting you. No. Blake? 3.5. And obviously 8 is 4. So our answer for this is we're going to have 4 inches of rain in 8 hours. All right, so that is a tape diagram when using unit rate. The last problem you guys are doing on your paper, notes, whatever you want to call it today, is number 7. Okay, again, you're doing this independently. Stand up when you're done. Annotate, do the work in your notebook. Stop. All right, let's go ahead and go over this. So you should have this set up to figure out how much or how many square feet per 1 gallon. So when you do your division, what do I multiply 12 by to get close to 27? Isaac? What do I multiply 12 by to get close to 31? 2. Bless you. What do I multiply 12 by to get close to, or sorry, what do I multiply 12 by to get 72? Allison? 6. So your answer is 226 feet squared per 1 gallon. So what is the correct answer? C. All right. Again, with how you're going to glue this in today, you're going to put just a little bit of glue. You can either pick this page or the first page. It doesn't matter. So either this page right here or the page that you just ended on if you used to, but you're only putting a little bit of glue in one corner or one interior side, whatever you want to call it. Once you have this glued in, you need to turn the page. Sorry, you need to slide over to the next blank page you have. Not sure if it's going to be the right page or if it's going to be the left page. And you're going to need to put a little bit of glue right underneath your title or at the top of your page, depending on how big your notebook is. And you're gluing your homework page down, but not all the way, because you're going to flip it up so you can do what underneath it? Your work. All right, once you get this glued in, go ahead and get started on your homework. You don't have much time left today. Got about 10 minutes right now. So I'd use your time wisely. Christian, go to the bathroom.